Happy Friday evening, YouTube, and I hope wherever and whenever you're at, you're having a good day, good night, good morning, good whatever time of day it is for you, whenever and wherever you are at. Well, there be some rumblings and some troublings in paradise, as one might say, for good or for ill, and honestly, a little bit of both, depending on who or what you are listening to. UPS has been making waves the last, about a month or so, about between the Teamsters Union and UPS corporate, or the UPS echelons, and the fact that negotiations on our new labor contract have not been going well, to put it mildly. Apparently there are some very critical points that neither side is willing to give ground on. Apparently, when it comes to UPS, they're unwilling to give as much ground as the Teamsters want in terms of pay for part-time employees. And I think a major point that the Teamsters aren't negotiating on is perhaps, I'm sure it's related to pay as it always is, but I worked for UPS for about 9 months, almost 10 years ago now, which is hard to believe. And it was interesting. I mean, I almost got myself on course to being a package car driver, which, in fairness, would have been a really good gig to get into, because I basically would have been set for life at that point. Just have to ride that brown wave until I'm 65, 70, whatever. Whether staying as a package car guy or moving around in the company as different opportunities presented themselves. Some days I look back on this, like I said, maybe I should have just stayed on that track and just, stuck with it and seen what happened. But you know what? Everyone makes choices. I made mine, and now here I am. Can't say I really regret all of my choices, but every now and again I think, well, maybe my life would be a little bit different if I had done X, done Y, but we all do that. Anyway, to get back on point here, if nothing happens with these negotiations between now and July 31st, which is just a little over 2 weeks away, then the Teamsters will walk out on strike on August 1st, the following day. What that's going to mean is that if the news reports are to be believed, and the facts and figures being spoken of are accurate in any capacity, 37% of package delivery in the U.S. will suddenly come to a grinding halt, with no backup plan, no option, no real alternative, because FedEx has 33%, which is still extremely respectable. And then you've got USPS behind them at 17, or is it 27? I forget. I think it's 17. And then Amazon Logistics is at 12%. This is just parcel delivery. Nothing to do with actual mail or documents or anything else. This is just parcel delivery, at least if I'm interpreting the news story correctly that I read earlier today. However, what they have not spoken about is what that's going to do to UPS freight efforts, UPS over-the-road trucking, how that's going to be affected, because if there's no one to load trailers, that means those trailers don't get pulled. And if those trailers aren't getting pulled, either the company drivers are out on strike, which I expect, or the owner-operator contractors, and there's quite a few of those, who drive for UPS and move UPS trailers, might end up out of work pretty quickly here. And they might end up in a situation where they have to, do something else, get their own operating authority, or hope they have enough money saved up to weather what could end up being a very stormy August for them. Honestly, I don't know the ins and outs of it, because I only looked at being a UPS contractor very briefly, and just decided it wasn't for me. Now, if an opportunity came up in a non-strike situation for me to pull a UPS trailer as a power-only guy and just, move a trailer here and there as an option for just doing power-only freight, again, in a non-strike situation, I'd probably give it real thought. If the rate was good and if it was going to bring me from a good freight market to another good freight market, I would be well advised to give it good thought and even, take the load. But in a strike situation, I'm not sure that it would be the smartest thing for me as a solo owner-operator with just one truck and one trailer to essentially become a scab if they do go out on strike and move UPS freight in UPS trailers or, from UPS customers in some capacity where it's definitely a UPS-centric situation. That would not be well for me. However, there is a possibility that because different companies, if the strike does happen, and the strike is, if the driver force for sure does go out on strike, because not only is our UPS package car drivers part of the Teamsters, but I think also UPS day cab and hub and spoke truck drivers, over-the-road drivers, company guys. There's also the UPS drivers who move trailers cross country from hub to hub. I think they're also company drivers in addition to the owner-operator contractors. What that could end up meaning is that the market could become saturated quickly with freight, especially if the strike is going to end up going for longer than 5 business days. And I say 5 business days specifically because one projection in that same article I read earlier today is that in the first week that a UPS strike happens, there's a projection of $7 billion in lost pay to employees as well as revenue to different companies. And that's probably a conservative estimate, probably focusing mostly on just UPS employees instead of the companies that rely upon UPS to move their finished products or even bring them raw materials in a freight capacity. Because UPS, we all think of UPS as just being, your friendly package delivery system, but UPS Freight, which I almost sought a job with several years ago as well, UPS Freight, they do finished manufacturing goods, they do raw materials. There's a lot of companies just in the Chicagoland area where I'm from that use UPS Freight to get either their raw material they've processed that's going to then go to one of their customers to be then put in through their process to become a finished good or a component of a finished product, that rely on UPS Freight to move that material to the UPS Freight hub, where it then ends up either on another truck that takes it over the road and takes it to that customer directly, or it ends up on a train and then it gets pulled cross country and then another UPS truck takes it on to its final destination. However it ends up working out, there's so many different ways that UPS moves 25, 35, 45,000 pounds of product, whether it's raw material or what have you. I wish this guy would speed up because the speed limit is 70 and this guy is holding up the show here. So we'll get on past him and we'll keep yammering away here. Where was I? Yes, moving weight. There's also the situation where UPS does also deal with finished product delivery to companies like Amazon, and who knows how many other small, medium, and large businesses. And if suddenly UPS is no longer an option because there's no way for that freight to be moved because those trailers will not be handled at the different waypoints in the UPS network, that means those customers, those companies are going to have to look for other shipping options. What that could do is, in the short term, in August, in my uneducated assessment of the situation, is it could potentially spike freight rates through the roof, because now brokers are going to have to start really working hard to make sure that the freight they need to move for their customers is being picked up by individual owner-operators like myself, as well as companies that use a lot of owner-operators, or just, other freight carriers in general. So there could, and because there's been a capacity decrease in some respects over the last 6 to 12 months as fuel went up and rates went down, a lot of individual owner-operators and small fleets, and even some medium-sized, multiple hundreds of truck fleets went under due to inability to operate in the challenging economic climate. That could potentially create a lot of opportunities for people like me, owner-operators like me, to capitalize on the situation, because there's going to be a glut of freight that UPS isn't moving, potentially anyway, that has to get moved because these companies are relying on different systems to get things done. And it's entirely possible that UPS, if this strike does go through, UPS Freight could lose a lot of customers, because other carriers might say, hey, look, we're not a union shop, but I've got, 10 trucks, I've got 25 trailers, we can step in here and we can get you on a cycle with us where we're moving your freight directly from you as a point of origin to your customer as the destination, and not have to worry about intermediaries. Like, we'll get dedicated drivers working just this account, moving your product, your goods in our trailers, and we'll just cut out the middleman and we'll get your freight right to your customers where it needs to go, and let's hammer out the details. I mean, that's probably going to happen in some capacity if the strike does happen. It may also happen on principle, because these companies might be like saying, look, if UPS is about to go on strike, we need to make sure we've got capacity to move our freight, so we're not going to be left holding full warehouses with no way to ship it out. We need to get some other carriers in here and just start looking at options and seeing who's going to be a good, reliable bet, good, reliable option to keep us going, so that we can continue to produce and we don't have issues for ourselves and we have to stop because we just can't get our product out. Because there is a real strong possibility that a UPS strike is going to have colossal trickle down throughout the U.S. economy that will have, as of right now, I would say incalculable costs, potentially in the negative, of course, on the U.S. economy just in August. And the ripples of that could be felt through the rest of this year, because August, essentially, like July, August, September timeframe, that's when companies that haven't already started stocking up for the holiday season begin to stock up. You get a lot more electronic goods coming into different storage points and different warehouses. You've got, specialty products and finished goods and whatever else coming in that the companies are starting to say, okay, we need to get this stuff stocked up so we have full shelves when it comes time to be end of November, Black Friday. We got to get our Halloween goods in. We got to get our Thanksgiving materials in. We got to get our Christmas stuff ready to rock and roll, because that's all going to be coming real quick. Because even though it's barely middle of July right now, the intelligent businesses are the ones that plan ahead and have their year planned out, well over a year in advance. Like, okay, at this quarter we're going to be getting this in. This quarter is when this comes in. This quarter is when this comes in. This quarter is when this comes in, and they've got it all meshed out, planned out, and that all depends on them being able to rely upon a dedicated logistics system like UPS to ensure that product is coming in and then also leaving, it's whatever capacity, whether it's bringing raw material in to become finished goods to go to the point of sale, or finished goods coming in from a vendor that go to a warehouse that then end up being delivered to the point of sale, or however it works out. There's a lot of need for dedicated logistics that's not going to be interrupted by strike action. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that the UPS drivers and, laborers in any capacity are wrong to go out on strike, because if they are being mistreated, and I would say they probably are, because I've heard tell the turnover in UPS is pretty severe, especially in some of the driver positions. This is an apparatus of the labor force to use against the corporate hierarchy to say, look, we make you possible. Either you give us what we want in a way that we accept, at a level that we accept, or we're going to bring you to your knees by grinding your business to a halt, because without us, you do not function, which is true. And, in the challenging economic times where wages are not rising commensurate to the cost of living and also inflation, it's very difficult for me to sit here and say that the Teamsters Union is being selfish. Now, I'm not a fan of the union bosses. Never have been, never will be. They've always rubbed me the wrong way. But the union laborer is someone I definitely hold near and dear, because I was a union laborer for a while. I've got friends who are union laborers or have been union laborers. I've got high school classmates who are union in some capacity or another. I've got different companies that I pick up from and deliver to our union shops, depending on the situation. So the union laborer is a very crucial component of the U.S. economy. And whatever my feelings on the unions themselves might be, because I've seen the good and the bad, the union laborer is someone that is, there's a lot of jokes about them, but they're still at heart, they're good people and they do really good work most of the time. Yeah, you'll find your bad union shops every now and again, but I've also worked in some really good union shops, and it's very difficult for me to speak ill of union laborers when I've worked very closely with them and seen, that they are doing, more often than not, good work. So it's something to think about, at least in that regard. So if they feel they're being underpaid and undervalued, and they don't see their bosses looking at them in a way that they should be in terms of increasing their pay to show that they are valued, then they should go on strike. They should make sure that their benefits are on point, that they should make sure that their pay is commensurate with their cost of living. Like, these things need to happen, because cost of living has not gone down ever that I'm aware of. It's only going to go up, and it's going to continue to go up. Inflation is causing prices to rise while the actual value of goods purchased shrinks. It's causing inflation's happening while shrinkflation is happening. You're paying the same amount for less product, or you're paying more for the same product. Whatever way it's actually happening, it's happening in the way you slice it. So there we go. But even though I'm saying that the union labor shouldn't be disregarded or undervalued, and I think the strike reasoning